All right, so the day is just getting started here, and I'm going to jump onto the screen and break down for you the first couple of trades. So, ZAPP, ZAPP, as per yesterday's weekly game plan, has resolved pretty much as expected, which is great. So, those of you guys that watched my game plan, this was uploaded on YouTube. I do my weekly game plan each week on Sundays. And, I basically lay out my goals and kind of expectations for the week ahead. So that was the weekly game plan video right here that I just uploaded on Sunday. All right. So in that video, I said ZAPP was going to be on watch for today for a couple of reasons. There was also talk about costs. I said cost is not on watch today because it didn't hold volume weighted average price basically all day on Friday. So VWAP is the orange line here, and costs, it popped up, but it just was down here kind of all day, and it rejected, and then it closed, kind of added to lows. So I was like, costs, well, we made as much as we could on it, and it's out of play. But ZAPP, well, that's a different story. I said, when we look at ZAPP and we look at the way it closed right here back over volume weighted average price. Now, one thing that I was a little cautious on with ZAPP was the fact that the daily chart did show this red candle for Friday, right? We had a red candle here, a little doji. So that wasn't great. And that was because of the fact that although we, kind of opened strong, we peaked, we hit a low, and then we ended up closing right here. So that's creating that red doji candle. But nonetheless, I had it on watch. And what I knew about Friday was that it had a big squeeze right at what time? 7 a.m. Right here, 7 a.m. So I sat down this morning at about 6:45 to watch to see if we would get a similar move on ZAPP. And boom, we sure did. I didn't jump in too early. I wasn't in down here, right here. I got my starter at $6. I got a little profit on the top of this candle here. It dips down, and then I added back. So my first trade, I got myself up $1,000 on it. And then after I was up $1,000, increasing share size, ready to step up to the plate, be more aggressive. Capped my position at about 10,000 shares on this. And look, this was a nice move from 650 up to 750, all the way up to 8. We peaked at $8.30 before pulling back. Now that's the 5-minute chart. If we jump onto the 1-minute chart, we can kind of zoom into this price action here. Now, it's only 7:30, so I'm not done yet. I'm just kind of setting the stage here for what I've already gotten pre-market. And, hopefully this will help you guys understand my game plan from yesterday and also sort of, get oriented with what's going on today. So this was that first trade there over 6. It pulls back and then it squeezes back up to 615, adding into that position, into that move. We get a move up to 650, 660, dips, micro pullback, and then another squeeze back up. That's that micro pullback setup, right? We talk about that all the time. So it's a first pullback, but we also call it a micro pullback. Ends up going from 660 there up to 7. Pulls back for a second at 7, sort of struggles there. Then it pulls away up to 740, 750, 780, $8, $8.30. And then we get this bigger red candle right there. And on that candle, I actually gave back about $900. I was up 9,300, something like that. Gave back a little profit there. It pops back up, drops again. Now we're stair-stepping down. So at the moment right now, highest volume candles red. You've got this big rejection candle. That could separate the front side of the move from the back side of the move. It feels that way on the 1 minute. We got the MACD crossover. But at the same time, this is a stock that a lot of people are paying attention to. It is pretty obvious. It's up 74%. Right now on 5.5 million shares of volume. Now Friday, it traded 50 million shares. Thursday was 25 million. Wednesday was 35 million. So there's a great chance we're going to have higher volume today than we had yesterday, given that we've already got 5 million shares of volume and it's only 7:30 in the morning. It's bright and early and we've got a lot of volume. However, the 5-minute, it is pulling back down to the 9 moving average. That could be a spot we look for a bounce. Based on the volume, we can see higher volume in total has been on the buying. lighter volume is on the selling. So that does support the potential for another move higher. But, we'll see what it gives us. Right now, it's possible that we're going to get a 5-minute pattern. And what I would look for is for the 1 minute to stop selling off, to base out, and to start moving back up. And the second we start to see that kind of pattern, that's where I get interested. And I'm focusing primarily on the 1 minute, but then I look at the 5 minute for that confirmation and to help me understand my risk. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on ZAPP here. This one definitely has traded well so far. The leading gapper in the market is IVP. Now, IVP is a very low float, less than 1 million shares. Gave us a nice squeeze there at 6 a.m. and has pulled back since then. I don't have any trades on IVP. MORF, that one's higher price, so I'll just skip over it. KA lower price, VRPX lower priced. So a couple that are cheaper. ANVS was also on my watch list from Friday, or from yesterday that I just uploaded. I was looking at this possibly for the breakthrough 1150. That's still in play and a possibility. The volume right now, however, is light, so it hasn't given me kind of the confidence to jump into that, but I am going to keep that on watch. And then we've got, of course, just to look at the overall market. Overall market right now, hey, I mean, this is a great way to start Monday morning. We've got market basically right here at all-time highs, looking like it wants to push higher. So no complaints on the overall market. We're getting some momentum here in July. This is great to see. I'm excited. I mean, this is blue sky on the overall market. Now, the overall market's not going to go parabolic, but, it'll keep grinding higher. It'll pull back. It'll move higher. And nonetheless, we don't have any upside resistance, really. So you could say we have some ascending resistance in some areas here, but nothing too extreme. So I think the overall market's going to keep rising a little bit. We're going to see this nice sort of, ebb and flow where we get a little wave up, a little pullback, a little wave up, a little pullback. So those of us who worked hard in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and put some money into the market long term, we're all sitting in a pretty nice spot. Those of you that are newer, right now, you're paying your dues. You're gaining your experience. You're trying to lock up some profit. But I encourage you to put some away for the long term. So if you can use a Roth IRA, you can put some away tax-free, save for your retirement, and benefit from growth in the overall market and compound interest as it starts to gain momentum. So that's the S&P 500. I also know some traders talking about Tesla, which has been on a really nice move here, driven, however, by increased production number, I believe, that they just put out. So it's got a catalyst behind it. So that's good to see. Tesla turning around. Tesla's part of the S&P 500, so that'll pull the S&P 500 up a bit. NVIDIA right now, kind of pulling back. We did have a MACD crossover on the daily. I'll just copy paste this so you can see this indicator on the daily. So MACD crossed over on the daily right there. Something to be aware of, but in any case, not really in play for me for day trading. Just making a note on it because I know that other people look at this. So I would say the watch list for the day is right now focusing on volume. Highest volume is on IVP. So I have that on a side chart. It's worth watching if it can curl back up. But ZAPP, that one put in a pretty nice move. So I'm watching to see if ZAPP has more action in it. KA, HOLO. HOLO has been beaten up badly. So this one, it's a tough one. It's a stock that's really been hammered. I mean, you could see how much it's sold off. So that's going to be a tricky one, but we'll see if it gains momentum today. I'm not sure if it will. KA, another cheap one. But really, at the moment right now, coming up to 8 a.m., ZAPP and IVP are the two that have the most volume and I think are the most obvious. And ZAPP of the two has given me a lot more opportunities and I think has more, a bit, well, I don't want to say more potential. They both have potential, but ZAPP, it's on a multi-day run. It's got a lot of attention. The only thing that we were talking about from Friday when it comes to ZAPP was we were looking at their earnings. Oops, put it back in here. And I was concerned about the risk of a offering. And this is just, I mean, this is the reality of a lot of these small cap companies. They're lower price companies for a reason. They're kind of trying to gain their footing. So let's see. Where's the balance sheet on this? Let me scroll down. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right. Okay. So just looking at total selling distribution expenses here for fiscal year ending in September. Financial income, finance income, interest on bank deposits, yeah. Hmm. So, yeah. Yeah, I think, the thing that I just worry about with some of these companies is that after several days of having a nice move up, I worry about the risk of a bigger sell-off or an offering. So cash flow from operating activities. US dollars. I just think that they're in a position where they're going to need to raise capital soon. So that's something to be aware of. They're spending a lot of money. Interesting. Okay. So anyways, so that's a risk on ZAPP. And I just think it's something to be aware of. That's probably the biggest danger. And realistically, there's going to be people that are taking this position to the short side because they're thinking that we might see an offering and that'll drop the price down and then that'll be a win for them. But as the price goes higher, it's up 75% today, and if it keeps pushing higher, then we get to a point where they may end up having to cover. And maybe they add back, but they're just like, all right, well, this thing is just going higher and I can't just keep waiting. So we've got room up towards 1020 on the daily. We've got a little bit of resistance here around 675, but we're currently over that. So we'll see if we can hold over that level. And then, a little pivot right there around 758, but we already broke that pre-market. So I think 1020, that's one level. And then going up a little bit higher, then we've got 17, which is the 200 moving average. So that's back of the mind, kind of like resistance up here. I don't know that we get that far, but just kind of break down the charts and look at the levels. And the fact is, we don't have really resistance from 1020 until 17. So that is a fairly large window that's formed by this red candle. So something to keep on watch. We'll continue watching ZAPP as the day goes on. First step is, seeing if it can curl back up towards 8 and make a move, up towards 9 and 10. If it can, then 1020 is the level to watch, and then up towards 17. And if it can't do that, then, hey, I got some profit on it pre-market right off the watch list and can move on to the next stock that becomes obvious. Maybe it'll be IVP or something else. There could be breaking news that comes out in the next 10 minutes that all of a sudden, changes the watch list for the rest of the day. So anyways, wanted to kind of give you guys that breakdown. I'm going to upload this as well for YouTube, so people on YouTube can see how the watch list played out from yesterday. And those of you guys tuning in on YouTube, if you haven't already checked out our 4th of July sales at Warrior Trading. Come check those out. They're still going on, but they're ending this week. So anyways, I hope to see you guys in the community. And I'll remind you as always that trading is risky. My results aren't typical and there's no guarantee for success. Whether you trade with me or you learn on your own. So manage your risk, practice in the simulator before you put real money on the line, and I'll upload a recap later in the day.